What's up, guys? This is Mark here, the world's strongest man. You're listening to Bob Culture Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very special Majesty of Pro Wrestling edition of the BCP Shameless Promo, brought to you by this handsome guy down here, Daniel Parker and Parker Kane Promotions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, ahead of her appearance at WrestleCade Black Friday weekend. Check them out. She's doing Ladies Night Out. She'll also be signing with Parker Kane Promotions. But more importantly, not to bury the lead here, ahead of her match tomorrow at NWA Hard Times 3 in the triple threat action against Chelsea Green. Camille Brickhouse, you got a tall order in front of you. Triple threat action for the Women's World Championship over at NWA. Please welcome to the show a hashtag multiple time wrestling fashion winner, no stranger to gold over both shoulders and around the waist, the number one contender right now for the NWA Women's World Championship. Please welcome to the show, Miss KiLynn King. I don't know how Excalibur does it. How are you, KiLynn?
I was about to say that was a really long intro. I think that's the longest intro anybody's ever given me before.
Well deserved. Thank you so much for taking the time. We've really been wanting to talk to you since you've really been killing it on AEW Dark the past couple of years. Now you're just all over the place right now. You're riding this wave of momentum, and we've seen you just kind of climb that proverbial mountain right now. And even every day on social media, I'm seeing everyone, hey, who's the top wrestler you want to interview? KiLynn King. Who's one of the top indie wrestlers right now? KiLynn King. Are you seeing this momentum? Are you feeling this momentum right now?
I definitely have. I think the first half of the year, it was one of those, because I've always, even when I first started wrestling, I was always one of those personalities where I didn't think about it. I just kept my head down and I just kept moving, kept going, kept working. So the first half of the year, I think that was kind of what I was doing. I was keeping my head down, just making sure I was constantly working and constantly finding opportunities and just doing what I had to do to keep the wave of my name going. But it wasn't until I think like 2 months ago, my boyfriend sat me down because I was going through like this wave of like, it's not enough. I'm not doing enough. And he just sat me down and he's like, do you realize that in the last year, you've done more with your career than some wrestlers have done in the last decade? And I was like, huh? And he kind of just laid it out for me. He's like, you've worked for multiple large corporations. He's like, you've been winning titles all over the world. You've been doing this, you've been doing that. He's like, some wrestlers work maybe 4 to 5 times a year. He's like, you need to chill. He's like, you're doing the right stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing and enjoy it. Because I'm one of those people that as soon as I accomplish one thing, I'm like, it's not enough. I have to do something else. So I've definitely done a lot of cool crap this last year and a half, 2 years. So for sure. And I'm just trying to make sure that going into 2023, like everything that we've accomplished this year, that it's just going to be elevated to the next level in 2023 because nothing but up.
I love that. And I can relate on the level that I am not an in-ring performer. I give you guys and gals so much credit, but I do date a wrestler, and every weekend it's the miles, it's the neck, it's the lower back. I saw you post something and we've had those same conversations like, oh man, there's so much give and take, like the miles, that what it puts on your body, the miles on your body, the proverbial bump card. We saw your post recently on Instagram and you said like these workouts have been tough. I'm paraphrasing here. You say, you're putting in the miles, you're putting in the work. It takes a toll, but it's all going to be worth it. Tell us a little bit about what was your mindset right there.
I was always a big workout freak. I loved lifting. I did powerlifting for whatever I could study and just get my hands on to wrestling for a certain period of time, the way you train more. And so for me, like I'll have weeks where, I'm feeling good. My body's like healed up a bit. And so I can lift, I can going to the gym doesn't feel like a chore. It's like, yeah, this is what I got to do. This is the lifestyle. But then there's weeks like this week where it's like, I have a really long, amazing weekend of matches. I bust my butt. I get in the ring with some incredible talent. And, we have bangers. We put each other through hell. And it's great. But then you get home and you have a whole week of, oh, I got to keep training so I can do this again next weekend. and your entire body is just saying, mother effer, like, can you not, like, can you please just chill and lay down for like 20 minutes and just let me rest? And that's what my body was going through this week. Like, my neck was hurting, my shoulder was hurting. And it's not even just the physical pain, like it's the mental part of it too, because I always I always joke that it's really hard to describe the mental exhaustion you feel when you get back from a loop, because like you put, first of all, I drink way too much caffeine when I'm on these loops. So by the time I get back, I have to detox from that, and my whole body's just like, but like just physically and mentally, like you're staying so zoned in the whole loop, because you know you gotta cut promos, you gotta put matches together, like you gotta do all this ridiculous stuff, and you don't realize how much it takes out of you until you finally walk through your front door and you're just like, I'd be okay if I just didn't leave my house for a week. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it takes quite a few days for your body to bounce back, but the problem is reset unless like we take time off and go on a vacation or something like that. And for me, that's not able momentum riding that. So it's just a matter of me having to adapt to that body, that I get the callus built for it, because this has been one of those weeks where it's just like, I don't want to do anything. But as you said, I've got the pay-per-view tomorrow in the triple threat with KiLynn and Chelsea Green. So there's no off days right now.
Yeah, and very well-deserved opportunity. We're excited to be watching tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a minute. I want to throw it to Daniel real quick. Daniel, thank you so much for everything. With us, it's a two-way street, man. I want to put you over as well, man. First of all, rocking the shameless promo. I see all the hats, the gear, the T-shirts. This is a layup for you, bro. This question's a layup. Why are you bringing in KiLynn for WrestleCade, man? I mean, I know the answer, but why KiLynn?
It's simple, man. She's a great talent. She works hard, she busts her ass, and I'm honored to be able to represent her down there. It's our first time, going down there as a promotion. I can't be more than happy to have her be the one to represent us.
Yeah. Great answer. I'm sure, KiLynn, if you know Daniel, will be leaving with some swag, as you can see over there. I think we got that Parker Kane mug. So thank you, Daniel, so much for everything and setting this up. KiLynn, I want to throw it back to you. Shameless promo. We got to talk about, we can't bury the lead here. Tall order tomorrow. Not only Chelsea Green, but Camille Brickhouse, who's been dominant. You're no stranger to her. You're no stranger to holding gold. If I'm doing the math right now as an outsider looking in, we've seen some events with Chelsea Green recently. It's like, oh, what's going on with Chelsea? Where's she going? On Impact, we saw that recently. Camille, just straight up dominant, but you have that wave. You have that proverbial wave that I keep talking about. I feel like this is the time. I don't want to pump you up too much here, but I feel like this is the time. How are you feeling emotionally, physically? You talked about already going into this one.
First of all, I want to acknowledge the fun little play on words that you use there, tall order, because every single girl in this match is tall. Yeah, I mean, I said it before, I'll say it again. I beat Chelsea Green. I beat her. I pinned her. I've literally pinned her. So, but with that said, Chelsea Green is a wild card, and she's no stranger to taking the dirty route when it comes to things, and to try to get what she wants. So you have to keep an eye on her in that regard, because while she might not have the strength advantage in this match, she does have the mental game advantage, because she's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and she has used that avenue to find success before. With Camille, I can understand why people would say that, like, that might be a hard task for me, but I've wrestled her multiple times now, once in NWA, once on the Indies, and we come from similar backgrounds, and we both have the same kind of mindset where it's like we rely on the fundamentals, but we're always constantly trying to bring something new to the table each and every time we step in that ring. So I think it's a matter of just being a little more patient with myself in the ring this time, and just keeping my eye on her a little bit more, and not I don't know if underestimate is the right word, but just not taking my eye off the ball. Last time I stepped in the ring with her, we went to war. We had such a hard hitting battle, and when it got to the end of it, I was so sure that I was going to win that when she kicked out, I got frustrated and I took my eye off the ball. And because of that, there came the spear. So this time it's just a matter of not letting myself get overwhelmed no matter what happens and just keep going until that pinfall. I just got to keep, for lack of a different way to say it, just got to keep my eye on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you're feeling that momentum. I love what you said about the fundamentals, but bringing something different. I noticed that in your moveset when you get between the ropes. Is that kind of your philosophy, to kind of be fundamentally sound, which is obviously the key, but then get real innovative with some of your moves, especially your finisher and things like that?
100%, 100%. That's the one thing that we were always preached at Team 3D is know your fundamentals, know your footwork, and know your basics before you worry about anything else. Because it doesn't matter what kind of wrestler you are, if you don't have those, you have nothing. So that is always how we conduct ourselves in the ring. Is fundamentals first, and then we get innovative later. But yeah, I mean, like, it's time. It's time for NWA to have a new champion. It's time for the women's division to start shifting a little bit. And I think that I am that change and I am that shift. And I think that tomorrow, November 12th in New Orleans, we're going to see that happen.
Yeah. Best of luck. I certainly feel that way. You never know. Triple threat rules, that plays into it as well. Daniel, we're talking philosophy. I'll throw it to you, man. Your thoughts on kind of setting up to go down to WrestleCade all the way in North Carolina. I think you're like a Maryland guy, right? I always see you in Maryland. And then just focusing women's wrestling, which on the independent level and on all levels, man. What's kind of your philosophy there?
It really wasn't. It really wasn't my main target, to be honest with you. But it just led to that point because they just are showcasing themselves, and I feel like they need to be seen, they need to be shown, and I'm willing to kind of step in and help in any way possible that I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you're doing with a lot of the indie talent. And like I say, with us, it's a two-way street. And I see you treat the talents the same way. KiLynn, throwing it back to you. I'm sure, and feel free, don't have to comment on this, but there's a lot of pro women's wrestling stuff going on right now, as there should be. We've always been strong supporters of women's wrestling. I date a women's wrestler. Ladies are killing it right now. That being said, there's been a lot of narrative on social media. Did you have any comments, or did you want to weigh in on that? Or is this just another day at the office?
I mean, yeah, just another day at the office. There's always something, there's always perceptions. Like, I think that's like one of the first lessons you learn in wrestling is everybody interprets things and perceives things differently. So things are said and people perceive them and narrate them how they want to. But I will say that women's wrestling is on a great path right now. We've had a lot of people who have set that trail on fire, and a lot of us coming up and who are trying to make a name for ourselves are making sure that fire gets built to an even higher, we want it to get to an even better place. And we want it to be represented no matter what, no matter whether it's on the indies or in a company, and no matter what company it is. Every woman in this world wants every division to thrive. So we just got to keep working and keep representing and keep showcasing what we're capable of and keep elevating it to the next level. And then doesn't matter what is said, we'll control the narrative.
That's a fantastic answer. I love that. We'll control the narrative. That's awesome. I love that so much. But I got to put you over here. You're on the show, and I'm not just saying this because you're here. Our friend Sam Laterna is talking to Lita, and she's mentioned some wrestlers that she's got her eyes on lately, and she says KiLynn King. We're seeing Mercedes Martinez, one of the premier world women's champions on the planet right now, calling you out, or not calling you out, but friendly, saying, hey, let's fight. I'll defend my championship. I mean, they're coming to you at this point. I mean, what is that like for you?
Honestly, it's cool as hell. It is cool as hell because these are a lot of women who I never thought that I get to wrestle, let alone meet, let alone be friends with, and let alone have or want to compete with me. You know what I'm saying? The comment from Lita like blew my freaking mind. Like Sam had told me that she had interviewed her and that my name had come up, but I didn't realize that it was in the interview. So when she finally posted the interview online and I saw it, I was like, of all the people that woman could have named, because she just said in general on the indies, like, who are you keeping an eye on? She could have named so many people, and she named me, and I was like, holy crap, that's so cool. But it's just like I loved watching her, and so just knowing that my name is on her tongue, like that was really incredible. And Mercedes is one of the OG badasses in the world, so I would absolutely love to have that match. She's actually been like anytime I post any kind of thing, she always tags me and says like, "Yo, promoters, what's up? Let's make this happen." So I'm like, "Damn, this girl wants to wrestle me. Let's go!" So I would love that because for me, like I pride myself on studying all different aspects of wrestling, but I love getting in the ring with people who are better at something than I am because it makes me learn. And as a performer, like I constantly want to grow and learn, and you can't do that until you do that. So, and I always find that locking up with different people and seeing the way they interpret certain things physically in the ring helps me understand different ways to wrestle and to sell and to be in the ring. And that kind of evolution is what makes people want to keep watching you because they see how much you want to learn and how much you want to get better every single time you go out there.
Absolutely. And very well said. And speaking about learning, I mean, you have some pretty cool mentors of people that you trained under. I believe you trained 3D Academy. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's Devon. That's our guy, John Cruz, friend of the show. And then I've seen stuff like apparently like Billy Gunn was really helpful to you as well. Talk about some of these mentors.
Yeah. So when I first I met Bubba first, and I had my like little like I don't know. He gave me the tea. He's like, "Hey, this is what it takes. This is how much it costs." Blah blah blah. So I met him first. Like a month or two later, I signed up, and then I trained with Devon and John Cruz mostly at first. But then Devon got rehired to WWE, so they needed somebody else to come in, and that was around that time. John Cruz was like blowing up on the indies. He was like working a lot, so he couldn't always be there. So that's when they hired Billy Gunn to come in once a week and train with us. And I remember we were all like so terrified because he's such a big dude, and he's got a good mean face. So like a bunch of Billy Guns coming to train us, we were so nervous. But I remember when he came in, and this other guy, Treehouse Lee. I don't know if you know if you're familiar with Treehouse. He put us in a drill together, and it was like this ridiculous like 15-minute drill. You're not familiar with Treehouse?
No.
Look him up.
Is that like I know a lot of the Northeast guys.
He trained with me at 3D. Okay. I'm not really sure where he is right now. He's kind of like he kind of shows up, does a bunch of matches, and then kind of disappears for a while. He's very much a gypsy, like he's always on the road, like doing different stuff. Okay. But he's an incredible talent. He's very innovative. But he was putting him and I through, and this is in like a room in the back of a power gym that has no AC and only has one door to ventilate air into this room. So it's blazing hot midsummer in Florida. And we're doing this 15-minute drill and we're dying. We finish it and Billy stands up and he's got like his mean mug face on. He's just like, "So like, that was great, but are you going to be able to wrestle now?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Why? You want to get in the ring and go?" And he just like, he cracked a smile. He thought it was great because I was like, "I'm not intimidated by you. Let's go." Like ever since then, like I just felt so connected to him, and he became like my big wrestling dad. So and he truly, like, I learned so much from him because he was one of the minds that spent a lot of time with me. Like I always say that you learn something different from each trainer you have, but sometimes you have that trainer who speaks to you in a certain way that your brain just gets it. And the way Billy spoke to me, my brain just got it. So I spent a lot of time with him, and he really looked out for me. There was times where I couldn't afford my car anymore, so he would pick me up and take me to school. Uh, when we started shows in the indies, he would let me tag along with him and his sons to a couple shows so I could be promoters and learn how to run table and sell merch and stuff like that. And of course, the biggest of all, like he's the reason I ended up in AEW. Like when COVID happened, it looked like my wrestling career was coming to a screaming halt. I owe a lot to Billy in my career and John Cruz as well, because like even after I was in, like if I had any questions about matches and stuff and just trying to try new things, like he would last couple of years, I've done a lot of training with Dustin at AEW, and then of course in South Florida I trained with Gangrel a lot. So a lot of different minds that I've got to pick from.
That's awesome. Really, really great names. And then that's why you're killing it right now. Number 80 in the world for the women, one of the top wrestlers in the world, period. Daniel, I want to throw it to you, man. Obviously heading down to WrestleCade, North Carolina. Got to put that over as well. Tell us what else you got going on down there. Who else you're bringing in? What are your plans now for North Carolina?
Yeah, man. So it's like I said, it's my first time down there to join this convention. But yeah, so we have Christina Marie coming, obviously KiLynn King. We just added Lady Frost and Savage Benjamin. I'm also adding Emily J, the Stunner, coming in as well. I'm working on one more person in the works. I'm working on one more person. I ain't gonna give that away yet. So
all right. It was worth a shot. It's worth a shot. I got a shout out. We love Savage Gentleman and Lady Frost. Like I always say, more flips in the morning shift at IHOP. KiLynn, I want to throw it to you because I love your journey right now. It's good to be you. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of miles, but it's a good problem to have. You're all over the place. I almost equate it to like, this is a bad example, but like LeBron, when he went to the Heat and he would say, oh, he went to college and all that stuff. I feel like you're going to college. You're going to all these different schools. You're dipping your toes in all the water. Is that kind of your philosophy right now? Because you're increasing your stock everywhere you go. Is that how you kind of feel right now?
Absolutely. So it kind of started because during COVID, I became so regular at AEW that I think a big part of my brain thought that I was going to end up there permanently. And then when the contract never came or the conversation never happened, this narrative started with my name, like, oh, poor KiLynn, like, why won't they give her a contract? Why won't they give her a contract? Yada, yada, yada. And I started getting so frustrated because I'm like, why is this my narrative? Like, people are acting like I'm being mistreated. But in reality, I've spent the last 2 years at a major company learning so much at a very young stage in my career that most people would never have gotten before. That's awesome. So I was like, let me start going out on the indies more. Let me start reaching out to other companies and building my stock and building my name so the narrative will change and people will stop saying, oh, poor KiLynn, she's not getting signed. And people will start saying, oh, hell, look at her. She's busting her ass and building a name. Contract be damned. Like, because here's the thing, my stock, my value, my worth, and my name it's not dependent on a contract and it's not dependent on a company. It's dependent on me, what I do, and how I build myself up in this business. So does that mean that I'm ungrateful for any opportunities that I've ever had? Absolutely not. I'm grateful to Tony Khan. I'm grateful to Billy Corgan. I'm grateful to all the trainers and all the people who are constantly looking out for me and helping me and connecting me and helping me grow. But at the end of the day, a company and a contract, like I just said a second ago, it's not what bases my value. You know what I mean? So that was kind of what this past year has been. I wanted to make sure that my name and my face was popping up everywhere. That way people wouldn't be focusing on the narrative of why isn't she signed to AEW? They would be focusing on the narrative of where's she going to show up next, because she's everywhere. And that's what I wanted. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job of getting that ball rolling. So
I love that answer, KiLynn. Very positive. And I think you even see, we talked about it earlier, social media, it's KiLynn King, it's KiLynn King, it's KiLynn King. You got to be feeling that. That's a good way to go into your match tomorrow. I want to be respectful of your time, but KiLynn, we always like to ask this one. Is a fun question we ask everyone. Say you do get that big pay-per-view entrance, Mania entrance, wherever it is, with the live band playing. What band or artist plays you down to the ring?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have like bajillion answers to that question, but for the sake of time and because it's the first thing that popped in my head, I would probably pick the band In This Moment.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them a few times. Sure, very theatrical.
They're very theatrical. They have an incredible repertoire of songs, and they are so good at openings of songs. Like really building, like starting off on a good note and building the drama. Like there are so many songs of theirs that I always thought about coming out to, but I didn't want to have like. There's always the running joke that like, oh, it's an indie song because it takes like a whole minute for the song to hit before somebody walks out. So I didn't want to be that person. So I never used one of their songs because I'm a big believer. Like I have to wait for that beat to drop or that note to hit before I walk through the curtain. So I always try to find a song that's like quick and to the point.
Thank you.
But if I had my big WrestleMania entrance and if I had to have like a big dramatic opening, it would probably be In This Moment because their songs are sick and they always have killer openings to their songs.
That's a great answer. And that would be a great performance, just the theatrics. I popped so big when you said the long 1 minute intro because I'm like, guys, we got to get rid of these 20-second, 30-second curtain shots here, guys. We got to do something.
So true. It's so true. And there's nothing more awkward for a camera person when they're like sitting there in front of the camera and they're waiting for the wrestler to come out and like the whole 2 minutes has gone by. It's the worst. And not to mention some promotions, like your time it's very limited. So get to the freaking ring.
Oh man. That's amazing. KiLynn is now my new favorite wrestler, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get out of here, guys, we are all about the shameless promo. Daniel, I want you to talk all about WrestleCade, talk about social media, where everyone can follow you. Get the merch. Talk about the merch, man. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff here. I like the hats.
Yeah, man. So apparently I seem to come out with all kinds of things differently, but the hats finally came in. TKP Promotions got Parker Kane Promotions. I got some lanyards coming. I got some pop sockets still coming. Got the shirts still going. So yeah, we're gonna do WrestleCade as our first time out. But yeah, we can find me on Facebook at Parker Kane Promotions, Twitter at PK_Promotions_, or Instagram at Parker_Kane_Promotions.
Awesome, man. You do great work. We appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time and having KiLynn here as well. We are not worthy, KiLynn, before we get out here. And everyone already knows, but where can everyone follow you, get the merch, all that good stuff?
Social media is super easy. For both Twitter and Instagram. And right now I sell my shirts through a site called Fully. I always got a table set up, 8x10s, playing cards. And then I should have t-shirts for WrestleCade. I finally got an order in. So if you guys are coming to WrestleCade, not only can you stop by the Parker Kane Promotions table and do photo shoots, 8x10s and stuff like that, but we also have Ladies Night Out. So I'll have a table set up that day as well. And I'll be selling pictures there as well and t-shirts. So just come by, say hi, and buy some cool stuff and give us your money.
Guys, well, awesome. Yeah, shameless promo. We're all about it. KiLynn, thank you so much. Daniel, thanks so much. This was an honor. Good luck tomorrow on your match, KiLynn. We're rooting for you. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, NWA Hard Times 3 on FITE. Check it out. And guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.